Hey guys. Easty. Hey, Easty. Hey, Easty. Come, Easty. Come, Easty. Come, Easty. What a good guy. Hello. Hello, Easty. Hello. Long time no see. Long time no see. Long time no see. Yeah. Be about 5 minutes. Good girl. I got an ECU. ECU. So hi guys, welcome. So hi guys, welcome to live stream. Basically what live streams means is that I talk on the internet live. I'm going to be talking about a subject called non-duality. But first of all, I'm going to advertise my events so I don't go broke. My next event and my only event is Canar, Spain, which is the 4th to the 13th of November. That's my only event. I think I have a talk in Madrid the night before on the 3rd. I haven't put that up on my internet. And there is still space available on the retreat. What's the benefit for you guys coming on a retreat? Let's go for that. Was that all that I had to advertise about the retreat? I'm just remembering Amelia telling me. Oh yeah, the other thing, just before I tell you about the benefit of going on retreat, is that that we do this really beautiful program where we do sponsorship. So if you would like to sponsor someone to go on to a retreat, you can, and you just get in contact. You go onto my website. At the moment, we've got one person sponsored, which I really like. I think it's beautiful. I'm from Europe, so therefore I'm more prone to like. Actually, I don't know how true that is about all my other audiences. Yeah, I was going to make a joke, but that wasn't really funny. Okay, sorry. Bad joke. Luckily I caught it before it came out. I remember once I was looking at a friend, they could tell I was going to make a joke about something. And I could see my eyes begin to twinkle and they were like, don't even start. Sometimes I'm the one that finds my jokes the funniest. Okay, so we have a retreat of non-duality. Now, what are you going to get on a retreat of non-duality? I would just like you all to know that I am a brilliant salesperson. So I will now convince you to come on a retreat. What are you going to get? You're going to get the most profound thing there is. Something that money cannot buy. That work cannot buy. That effort cannot buy. And that is a big, huge nothing. Yeah. I mean, what more could you want? Nothing. I mean, nothing for nobody. We can't get better than this. I mean, this is why all non-duality teachers are super rich with absolutely booked out retreats with lots of people on them. That's because what you get from a non-duality retreat is nothing. And you can go no other place where you get given nothing. I told you I was a good salesperson. Apparently my dog is doing weird things. I don't think so. She's doing very cute things, aren't you, Khaleesi? Ah. This is what they do to clean themselves. See, she's cleaning herself. Very precisely. There's a little bit of mud there, so she's gently picking off with her teeth. Socially, dogs do this. I go up to her and I do it with my hands. I do this through her fur and she likes that. She tries to do this to me, although I don't really appreciate it, but I feel like it's bonding, so I let her do it to me and she just goes along my skin. She sometimes just does it to her bed as well, because I think she gets confused as to what's what. She just gets in her phase and then the bed starts getting cleaned. You see, I'm just so brilliant at selling things. I could also sell you Khaleesi. The absolute beauty of Khaleesi. So we have to say, we have to discuss your stale tactics. Okay, we go back to the Cannar retreat, and so besides getting nothing, what you'll also get is a really, really beautiful 10 days as well, in a beautiful environment with beautiful food and beautiful people. And I will express as much of my wisdom and silliness as possible. And you know, maybe you get something from that wisdom and maybe you don't, but that's not down to me, that's down to life, whether or not that wisdom resonates. And the absolute wisdom is the nothing part. And then on the relative level, I can also give you a bit of wisdom on the human level as well. Anyway, enough about that. Okay. My friend sent me a message saying I could feel a non-duality tsunami, meaning me. We were talking earlier, and I think for about 15 minutes, I just wrote with speaking. So I think she can feel that it's coming. Oh, I see. We've got anti-Trump people on chat again. That's the way it is. Okay. Oh, we got lots of anti people. We are now pro back. Okay, we're just going to hide you. Hide. We're hiding some of the people on chat. They get going on their little rants. I don't even think they're into non-duality. They just search for anyone that is into or could listen to them, and then they start saying stuff. We had one week we had people about Korea on there. Okay, let's go for it. The non-duality tsunami. I like that. Yeah, I don't know how to on yeah, I know how to hide the individual people, but I don't know how to block chat when I stream from my YouTube channel. Every time I've tried, it hasn't worked. I even wrote to YouTube and it still didn't work. Anyway, back to non-duality. But I've just worked out how to block people. I can't turn it off, but I can block people. Okay, so what have we got? We've got the subject of non-duality, and I know what's coming. Here we go. Here we go. It's a common. It's a common. The tsunami is coming. So maybe you've been around the block. Maybe you've been in and out of therapy. You've been to lots of different groups, psychology or emotional release or different organizations. And you keep believing that one day you're going to arrive there, but maybe you're beginning to feel hopeless. Like, I've tried all these different things and none of it's going to work, and you feel a little hopeless. Like you can't get there, you can't arrive. And if you really learn about psychology, you feel like you've learned everything psychologically and you understand your personality type, but yet you can't seem to escape your personality type. And if you could escape your personality type, then you'd be there. And then you maybe begin to feel hopeless. And then maybe you begin to hear non-duality and you get into the hopelessness of message of non-duality. You begin to feel like there is no way out, you're never going to get there. There's nothing that can be done. And you know, nothing that you've ever learned about yourself, about psychology, the emotional release, the getting there or not getting there, the being this or that, this personality type or that personality type, being angry or not angry, having enlightened behavior, being peaceful, being not peaceful. And none of it is going to get you to non-duality. None of that is going to get you anywhere. Because you don't exist. The you that you take yourself to be doesn't exist. And there isn't freedom in that you. The freedom is this alive presence that's glowing. So, let me get some instruments to describe this. So today we take this balloon for example. You may ask, why do I have a balloon sitting next to me at the table? Because my friend that was here weeks ago left it. She had her baby here too. So it's amazing how long this balloon lasted, but it does make me think it might pop soon if I touch it. So anyway, we've got this balloon. I don't want to put it too near my eyes. We have this balloon, and inside the balloon is air. And imagine if you replaced the air with a light, or you put inside of there a light. And that whole balloon would sort of go a lighter shade of red, it would maybe go orange. And then if you held it in a dark room, you'd see the effect of that. You'd see the orange light all over the walls. If you put inside there a white light, so I have a light here. So if we put, so that's without, with, it doesn't make that much difference, it's not that bright. Without, with. So if you put a white light in there, so this white light is always white, but it shines through a filter and makes it look like the light is orange. So we take it away and it's sort of darkish, reddish. Then we put it back in and it's like bright orange. So you can't really see the difference actually. So it makes it seem like it's orange. light is orange, but the light is in fact white. Now even if you had this balloon like painted in lots of different colours, if you painted it multicolour, still if you put the light to it, the light would remain white, but it would project, instead of just orange, multicolours. And this balloon is the human, is meant to be representing the human, and the light is representing the pure beingness. And when the light goes through that filter and looks through a body, it creates a certain colour. So it creates this orange on the wall, and the person believes that's who I am. I'm the light on the wall. I'm this personality. I'm this character. Really, that personality, that character that people see in the world. So whether you're a hyper person, a sensitive person, an empath, a narcissist, whatever character comes about, and that character is normally always changing, that character believes that that is who it is. It's the character, whereas actually who it truly is the pure beingness that shines through and is experiencing the character. This present aliveness, this empty looking, the consciousness, the no thing, and the I am, which is love. And both of those go through the body-mind and look through the body-mind, and then the body-mind has a particular colour, and the body-mind kind of clamps them, or this ego clamps them together. So you've got the body and you've got the light of consciousness and the I am, and it clamps it together and says, I'm this whole bundle. And so you feel like you're the person, whereas actually who you are is that presence which has got nothing to do with the person. You're not your behaviours, you're not your habits, you're not your ideas, you're not your belief systems. All of that is appearing and disappearing in this. And those habits and those belief systems follow the pattern of time. So they're spontaneously happening now, but they're following a pattern that seems to go through time. Like your habits are dependent on everything that came before. But if you really examine time, you'll begin to realize that time goes back to the timeless, like it's infinite. One second. Whatever you like. The only problem is because I didn't think you were coming, I set up towards the sofa.
Sorry?
Because I didn't think you were coming, I set up towards the sofa. So if you sit in the corner, my chair will block you.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Oh, maybe I can sit here?
You can sit there, yeah.
Will it bother you?
No. No. But if you're more comfortable, you can go behind.
Yeah. And behind where exactly?
Yes, there? Yeah, if you go in that corner, my chair will block you.
What would block me? The flowers?
My chair.
Ah.
Yeah, Yeah. You see. There's a good girl, sweetie. Help yourself to a drink if you want one. Sure. There you go. But you can't stream anything because I need all the internet.
Sure.
Or download anything.
So there's no need.
Yeah.
But
You can do it
next
after,
time.
but just not while I'm streaming.
Okay. Okay.
I need all the internet.
But I can go now and I will close it. So that
Yeah.
I have it.
You can do like general things, just not streaming or downloading.
Ah, okay. Ah, so I can go on booking.com and
Yeah. You're a good girl, Lucy. Are you? Are you a good girl? Here you are. What a good girl you are. What a good girl, yes you are. So really, enlightenment has nothing to do with the balloon. So you can do as much therapy, you can understand the personality as much as you like, and that personality is never going to get enlightened because it never existed. So in each moment, you have thoughts appearing and you have ideas and you have feelings, and all of those are spontaneously appearing now. You also have a memory that can put them in a timeline, so it can put it all together. And you can remember your life or what you've done or what you've thought or who you're seeing or who you're going to see. You can remember all these things, and then that belief is that that's who you are. Whereas all of that is appearing in who you are. Who you are is actually that being presence that's behind it. Now often, in order to realize this, there needs to be a good amount of relaxing the body-mind mechanism, but you're never going to get rid of all your traits and your traumas and your good things and your bad things. If you've got a more dominant personality, you might always be a dominant personality. If you've got a more insecure personality, you might be the more insecure personality. If you've got a fiery personality, you might stay as that. That's not the problem as such, but when that personality is really suffering, then it's really seeking to be different from what it is. Your personality structure is completely impersonal. There's no personality there. Like, it's not yours. Should we just move things around a bit, Talia? It feels a bit wrong, the spacing.
Okay.
You can sit in the sofa, I'll just move the table around.
Come on, yes. Waiting.
You can sit under the thing here. Block.
There.
Yeah. But it's okay, I blocked the camera, so I can't see you.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. There you go, that's better. We were a little, the angles were a little wrong. I'm comfy like this. Come on, Steve. So what happens is your mind keeps spinning to try and find the solution. It keeps spinning in trying to find the right psychological reason that you're unhappy, or trying to find the right thing that you're unhappy. Trying to do something. And there's lots of things that you can do to make your personality more balanced, like having a regular routine, doing exercise, psychologically working out your personality in relationship to others, understanding your trigger points, understanding your traumas, and all of this is going to make your personality more balanced. But there's always going to be a looking through of a certain personality structure. you're never going to become an enlightened personality structure. Like, there's always going to be that particular way of seeing things, whether it's a really happy, enthusiastic person or a less happy, enthusiastic person, or whatever personality it would be. But your freedom comes from the recognition of who you truly are, which has got nothing to do with being this or that. There is certainly more ways you can relax yourself. And if I think about my family members, like I certainly think I wouldn't be able to express non-duality to them at the moment. They'd have to understand a bit better the way they work, the way life works. They'd have to intellectually hear things and understand things and see things, and then there could be an expression of non-duality. When that's settled, when that desperate seeking energy settled, that's always future, 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 then there can be a presentation of who you truly are, and the freedom comes from a movement to that. It doesn't fix all your problems, it doesn't fix all your traumas on the human level, but there is a freedom in that, in seeing that who you are never is born, never dies, never suffers. There's never lost in anything. It's like a stillness looking out. And then the personality plays in that thinks this or likes this or gets triggered by that or doesn't get triggered by that. What I often see so often is that with spirituality or with this subject, people want to suddenly become a perfect person, because if they become a perfect person, then they're safe and they're lovable on the human level. So they look to a teacher that's perfect, and they look up at that teacher and they're constantly craving to be perfect like that person, and they're never going to get there. They're always going to stay a seeker, a follower, if they don't see that it's beyond that, that's a trauma that's most probably created from childhood, where you had a perfect parent or something and you felt insignificant to them, so you were always trying to present this perfect person and be this perfect person, and you're never going to arrive at that. So you create, but the seeker creates this world where it wants that so badly that it then finds a teacher that says, yes, I am perfect and I am at peace on the human level, and one day you can be perfect like me. And maybe they don't directly say that, but they're implying it. And maybe that's just their personality type. Maybe they're totally free and enlightened underneath that, but their personality type is more the boss personality type that always likes to project perfection. Perfection. Maybe they're more of a perfectionist. So that's what they like to project. And then the person gets that muddled with non-duality and uses it as another striving to become this perfect version of themselves, and then they can relax. But that's only in the human psychological world. That's what you've been doing your whole life, is trying to get others to love you, and it's never going to work. It's seeing that who you are is beyond that. But the mind gets tied in all these games unconsciously and just keeps trying. One day I'm going to be perfect like them. One day, this constant comparison. One day I will be empty and I will be enlightened and everyone will recognize it, or something in your imagination. And it's not like that. Your freedom is right now, and it's got nothing to do with your imaginings. Nothing. It's right now, right here. It's that alive presence that's looking out. And this isn't about trusting me. This isn't about trusting this external authority. That again is most probably a personality structure. Either you don't trust people or you do trust people, or you're in between. It's irrelevant. It's seeing something beyond that. What's always there when those thoughts come and go? What's always there when the feelings come and go? This alive presence, the empty looking, and that sense of I am. And the I am is love, and the empty looking is empty. It's nothing. It's nobody's looking out. Nobody's getting hurt. Nobody's suffering. But the personality structure is always looking in the personality structure. So it's thinking, no, but I want to feel safe. I want to get this. I want to arrive. But that person doesn't arrive. I don't want to do it. It's too much work on the personality structure. Forget it. That's not it. That's a thought. It's gone. It doesn't mean anything. You could think this is too much effort, and then you go on a daydream about how much effort it is for the next 2 hours, and that you can't do it, or you reject what I say, and you fail to see that it's just thoughts and feelings coming up, and they're not true. They're traumas based on your past. And while they're really strong, you can investigate that trauma to understand it and release it to an extent, but there's just no truth in it. Suddenly you feel overwhelmed by the weight of this, of that you can't make it, or that you'll never get there. But that's not true. That's just feeling and ideas. They come and go. So you see that that's just a feeling. The thought is saying, I'm not going to get there. You feel it. Feel the vulnerability of it. And then what's it appearing in? And there's the freedom. The suffering is the attachment to that, and the constant attempt to find love in your conditioning on the human level, and find safety in the human level. You won't find it in the flow. Love is your nature. Safety is your nature. On the human level, you feel safe and unsafe. But when you move back to that safety, then there's a part of you that's always safe, no matter what. You have to look at things objectively. I know I most probably sound like I speak a lot of like airy-fairy stuff. Like you look maybe and you might think, oh, this is just another one of those things that I'm never going to make it to, blah, 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 blah. But look at things objectively, okay? So firstly, there has always been consciousness. There has always been this awake presence in the experience. There's always been the I am. So those are the two constant. And the I am is love, and the empty looking is an emptiness that nobody's affected. In the personality level, in the thinking level, it's all about things, about you understanding something, about you seeing your past traumas, about you getting to a place without past traumas, about you getting more money, about you getting this or you getting that. So on the thoughts level, you're never going to be secure because there's always too many variables. There's always something that can or can't go. So you have to think, okay, so what is in the experience that's always here and always safe and never left? You have to find that. You can't look to a teacher for your safety, because they're going to play their particular games with you. If you've got a more narcissistic, proud teacher, then they're always going to play as if they're better than you. If you've got an empathy teacher, they're always going to be wanting to most probably express every possible angle. All these different teachers will have different roles that they'll play with you, and you could get lost with that, and you've got to forget about that. It doesn't mean don't listen to me or don't listen to those teachers, but you've got to see what the difference is between the pure being and the personality, and see that freedom isn't found in the personality. Be logical about it. See that you have a freedom that's always constant, and find that. And know that it's not you that finds it, but it can be found, but not by anyone. But it's your essence, so it's there, it's glowing, it's beaming. I don't have more of it than you. It's just this personality structure is no longer identified with it, or the beingness is no longer identified with the personality structure. But my personality structure isn't healed, and if you need to hear stories where I tell you how I'm not healed so you feel better about yourself to relax and not try to find it in the personality structure, then I'm happy to tell you that. Like, it's endless. You can endlessly work on the personality structure. So One thing that I find it hard in the personality structure is I struggle with boundaries, and especially as a speaker and a teacher, it's something I need to have very firmly, is boundaries. And it's something that I always have to work on, and I'm most probably going to have to work on the rest of my life, is inserting boundaries, and consciously recognizing when I'm not putting in my boundaries, because it's not a natural thing for me. I didn't grow up being taught boundaries, so it's something I have to learn. It's something that I might always have to intellectually understand when I'm not putting up a boundary correctly, or when I'm not saying no correctly, or when I'm not being firm enough in my no's. No, 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 no. I'm so much better than I used to be. Like, you most probably wouldn't even notice, but from the outside, maybe I look like I'm really compassionate, or really like giving, or really like open-hearted, and I am all those things, but I'm also rubbish at putting up boundaries, and I sometimes say yes too much. And I love people feeling good. I love seeing people happy, so I want to give. I'm an empathy character, so I want to do all those things. And I sacrifice my boundaries sometimes. And it's always a disaster when you don't put up your boundaries. Well, not always a disaster, but it's something that's super important, is to have good boundaries and to understand boundaries, especially when you're in the public eye. Like, if I maybe wasn't in the public eye, maybe I wouldn't reflect so much on how I'm not so good at putting up boundaries. But when you're in the public eye, even though I'm in a very small public eye, very small, you have people wanting things from you. They either perceive you as successful or having something they don't have, so they want it. So I have to really recognize when I want that and when I don't. And I'll give you another example of it. Someone wrote to me today from the town that I live in, and I also am a shy personality, and I don't like to be the center of attention. And it seems like a few people know me from YouTube that live in my town, and my first response was, oh no. like I don't like the idea of being recognized, or people like that live in my environment knowing what I do, just because I just don't like being the center of attention. Even though I do this, if you follow me or know the way I do my talks, I do it very much so I don't get put into that center of attention. My personality just isn't into that. But you get another, it doesn't mean that other personalities are wrong. Like, I told my friend that once it was funny because there was it was something like when I was going to India, there was like maybe 100 people coming or not. And when someone told me that and I realized, I was like, oh no. And then my friend was like, what's wrong with you? If I was sat there in front of 100 people, I'd be like, yeah, bring it on, here I am. And it's not that either of those personality structures are right or wrong. It's just that my personality structure is an introvert as opposed to a real big extrovert, and it's just the way it is. And so when I do public talks, I have to really be aware of my no's, and when I'm okay to do something and when I'm not, when I like something and when I don't, and when it's pushing me too much. Whereas an extrovert would just be like, bring it on. So there is nothing wrong with having these personality dynamics. This is what makes us all unique. And this is what makes us beautiful. It's all having our particular ways. There's no freedom though in it. There is no freedom in being a particular way. or not being a particular way. The freedom is a movement back to who you are, which is that alive presence. And I really believe that in order to recognize that alive presence and for that movement to happen, there has to be a certain settling down and understanding of the personality structure. So there's not this deep agony that's going on with being who you are. There's a relaxing of it. There's an understanding of it. But you're never going to get to freedom in the personality structure. So that, what I've said, for people that are more like me, that are more introvert, they will hear that and it's not all personality types, but personality types that are more shy, more introvert, more empathy characters, they're going to hear that and they'll most probably doubt it, because I used to believe that it was being perfect. But the more like higher esteemed people, the more narcissistic people, not that narcissism is bad, it's like a personality type, just like any other personality type, and it's got great qualities and it's got negative qualities. But those sorts of personalities would be like, I knew it. I knew I was already enlightened. I knew my personality was perfect. It just doesn't matter. It's got nothing to do with either of those stances. Neither are true. The empathy character that doesn't believe it, or the narcissist that's like, yes, I am enlightened. I knew it. She knows nothing more than me. I'm already enlightened. Neither of those positions are right, because they're thoughts coming and going. There is no freedom in thoughts. There's no freedom in feelings. They are not true. They are simply colours that are arising, that have evolved from thousands and thousands of years of humanity, and before that, all the other animals that led to the evolution of humans. In fact, you can trace back every action you do now right to the beginning of time. Which is beautiful. It's timeless in every direction. And so a more high esteem, a more high esteem, like more narcissistic, like I am boss character, they wouldn't, if they were the speaker, and they could be totally free and totally knowing who they truly are and acting as they truly are, but their personality structure has this more boss type character, this more, yes, I am right character, I am the leader, I am the boss. And they might never say what I say, because it wouldn't be in their personality structure to admit where they're not perfect. Their personality structure likes to project perfection, whereas my personality structure is totally into honesty and saying everything as it is, as true as it can be to what's happening. And neither is right or wrong. I am not better than the other, and they are not better than me. It's just difference. And seeing through all that bullshit, seeing through the Lisa personality, seeing through the other teacher's personality. Whoever you resonate is beautiful, but seeing that what they're pointing to is your pure being, is your alive presence that's right here. Your thoughts aren't true. No one can give you this. It's there. I can give you wisdom on the human level, which is beautiful. I can help you understand about the psychology of being human, although maybe I'm not the best at doing that. There's loads of stuff on the internet, but I'm quite good, maybe better than you. But it doesn't matter. Maybe the stuff you could teach me as well about that. But that's not non-duality. Here it is. That which looks at your eyes, that which hears this, that which feels. This alive presence, this empty looking and the I am. And this empty looking and the I am lead you right back to who you are, which is emptiness and fullness. This no thing and this everything's. So I just saw someone comment, thoughts are true if they resonate. You cannot have a word that's true, but you can have things that are more true. So to me, I would say this life is made up of love. But love is a word that we made up. It's a sound. It doesn't actually describe reality. But to me, that's the most true way I can present it. To me, Khaleesi is beautiful. And some people might not describe her as that and see her as something different. But to me, that's what my heart says about her. But no word is true, but for sure, there is words that line up more. And I always want to line everything up as truly as possible here. That's what feels good here. Is it all coming straight out, there being no internal and external world. But I can't always get it right, and sometimes I lie, like humans all lie. Even the fact that I admit that I lie is incredibly sweet. But all humans do. Sometimes it's so quick, you say something, you're like, oh, that wasn't quite true. But not so often. The body wants to try and get it as accurate as possible. And over the years that I've been speaking about this subject, I feel I've got better and better and better expressing this. And it's like the speaking lines up more and more with the way that I feel it is. It's so hard putting it into words, and in the beginning when I first started speaking, I didn't have the words for it. And it's getting better and better. Okay, so let's take some questions. Hey, Nicholas. So this is Nicholas. I just sat down and had a cuppa and looked on Facebook, and there you were, and I started listening to you, and there is something about you that for me is so wonderful. I started laughing and laughing, because it's so pleasurable, and I really realised kind of what it is. There is something about you that reminds me of my childhood, like a world which is so intimate and non-judgmental, so normal, so like the girl next door. It's impossible to say. It's the connection between that and non-duality, the most profound, the most awesome spiritual depth, love, and somehow bring those words together, all those words. It's so beautiful. That's so sweet, Nick. I know what you mean. Yeah, I get it when I laugh with people, when I laugh with you and Lee and Andreas, when we were sat outside and everyone was laughing, and you see that innocence in people's laugh, in their eyes. It's sweet. God, I keep sorry, this is from Keith. I'm glad you're not talking about fear and lack so much these days. I think it was making me feel more fearful and lacking. Yeah. It's funny how it works, isn't it? Couldn't simple, constant instruction just be to keep noticing whatever we're experiencing? God, I keep resonating with what you're saying more and more. I'm probably going to fall apart and explode. On my walk today, I experienced something odd. I felt like I was walking in myself. I almost felt the presence of my feet. It lasted an hour. Is this kind of imagination I have? I wouldn't worry about it, Nisargadatta, I don't know, Nisargadatta, but I don't think it is that. I wouldn't even worry about it. It was what it was. It was beautiful. I have all types of weird experiences. You know, when I was practicing Buddhism, I used to have samapatis all the time when my head felt like it was on backwards on top of the ceiling, or my feet felt like they were going through the ground, or my sense of gravity got distorted. And the point to it is seeing that what you believe to be true and reality isn't. And who you believe yourself to be isn't who you are. You believe yourself to be something limited inside the body, but actually your essence is everywhere and everything. And it's sizeless. And that's an energetic shift. It's like before you felt like you were the small vessel in relationship to the world, and then the shift is that you are this boundless presence in which this small vessel appears and disappears. Sorry, the illusory you is that the personality is that small vessel. I don't know if I said that correct. Sometimes I get so drunk I don't know what I'm talking about. So then it shifts to this presence which is boundless, and then the illusory you, the character that you look through, is like a small vessel inside of that, like shifts over. Don't touch the balloon, Khaleesi. Khaleesi hasn't quite worked out the balloon's pop yet. Hello, Open Eye Han. Hello, lovely one. I'm only going to read this very little bit. Open Eye Han. When I see your YouTube videos, I think this is the only way how this life worth living. The love of this life, what you are beaming, is the way how this life should be for fucking everybody who just wants it. Yeah, and I think that humanity is transforming, so this identified with it way of living is changing. It's like life has evolved, this conscious species, the self-conscious species, and then it takes time for that to evolve to not being that again. And if you just look at the media, and if you look at what's happening with YouTube, you'll notice that this subject is becoming more and more accessible in the media, and more people are talking about it. And so eventually it will filter into everyday language, and it will just become the norm. And then humanity will begin to change. If we don't kill ourselves first. There's always a possibility that we all kill ourselves because of climate change. Or Donald Trump. One or the other. But look around you, and I do not think of the cheerful ones around you. But on the personality structure, it's not about the personality structure. It's remembering that you're beyond the personality structure. That you aren't that. But I really get the sense, Open Eye Han, that you need to do some therapy to calm your personality structure down. And that's not a criticism. Like some people might see that as a criticism, that therapy, I think that some people think that it's below them or that they're intelligent enough. But sometimes you need someone to reflect back to you the way in which you're seeing life and the way in which you're seeing things, to point out it's not true. And to sort of help get on top of some of those really uncomfortable past traumas, because I suspect that you're having traumas, some traumas triggered quite a lot when you're interacting with life. And so when those traumas come up, you're most probably experiencing quite intense feelings, and so you're seeing life as very negative. And so more than likely you have to deal with those traumas to an extent just so they can settle down a bit and you can recognize what's actually happening biologically or biochemistry. I don't know, recognize how that's happening in your body and that coming up. And then through that settling down, then non-duality will become more and more present. It will be seen that who you are was never that personality structure. But if it's being triggered to the extent which I believe it is in you, then your mind's going to keep producing negative thoughts about the way life is. And if this non-duality here can be heard here, then it can be heard in any body mind mechanism. You know, by the time I was 16, I had eating disorders and I was making myself sick up to 10 times a day. And luckily I managed to break that, but mentally I really suffered. And if I can see that with somebody that for years did that addiction, like you know, it's as intense. If you imagine, people don't understand bulimia, but it's like it's a drug addiction. It's about chemicals in your brain that are released when you're sick. And for me, it was that I had so much emotion in my body that I wasn't allowed to express at home, and I wasn't allowed to express or speak about. I was like a lot of my growing up, I wasn't able to exist because we had so much illness in our family. Like so my personality wasn't allowed to exist, so it just got stored in my tummy. And being sick was such a relief. It was like the tension, the sickness in the tummy came out. And then there's an addiction to that, to eating, the addiction to food, and then the addiction to throwing up. And by the time I was 20, I managed to get off that addiction and haven't done it again. I think when I was 22 or something, when I was really drunk, I made myself sick one time. You know, when you're really like ill. I can't remember. But and after that, then my eating began to balance out as well. Like I was so super lucky that I was open to healing, and that I didn't listen to what my society was telling me, that I couldn't do things, that people around me, even Buddhist teachers, that you can't do things, that you can't be free. I was so determined. I knew from the moment I heard you've got to be in the moment, I knew that there was a presence, that there was something beyond everything. I just knew it with every part of myself. I knew what was being talked about. And if this personality can at such a young age deal with very, very difficult circumstances, very sad events, and really beautiful. Like I was also born as a white woman that was pretty and very privileged in certain ways. If I could deal with all that and deal with being dyslexic and constantly told at school that I was a failure and I would never make anything, if I could deal with all that and see, then every personality can see. It's not that the personality sees it, but every body, mind can open up, can go beyond that personality structure and see that you're beyond that. And I still have to deal with the effects of my childhood. Like I still have to deal with some traumas that I still have from that, and I still have to deal with personality traits that come from that. But just like everybody else, everybody's got their particular colouring. But I still have to deal sometimes with intense feelings. So I know that Open Eye Hun, that story, that you're in that victim story, And you've got to be open to seeing beyond that, that it's not true, your victim story. And that you can see beyond that, and that you can go beyond it. But then knowing that it's not you that goes beyond it, it's just the you gets unpicked. And you remember this childlike freedom of who you truly are, which is total emptiness and fullness simultaneously. Okay, that's all of the question. He says, this is unfair, what you do with my questions, because I don't answer them all. I just only answer the first few lines. But just see that's a thought process that arises in you. Another body mind mechanism that just heard me speaking to them and saying all of that might respond with, wow, that's so beautiful that she gave me the time and the attention. But your body mind mechanism instantly produces, this is unfair. So therefore that's going to be your constant reality, that this is unfair. This is unfair. That's not true. Hi Renate. Hi Martin. Hi Lisa, can you talk a little bit about the feeling of not wanting to be part of society? I caught it. Came up and I caught it. Okay, so Martin, more than likely that's a trauma, not wanting to be part of society. Obviously when you evolve, so as you open up more and more to the subject and your mind opens up more and more, then more than likely old friends and society doesn't resonate with you so much, you know, talking about women or men or what your problems are or this or that doesn't resonate, and you want to more talk about these other things, about non-duality. So I can understand that, but more than likely you also have a trauma associated with it. So more than likely, because otherwise you'd go out and you'd find other non-dual friends and other society and other people to be part of. But I suspect that in that you have a part in you that has issues with society beyond this subject. It's like your mind, like, I'm not denying the fact that when you get into this subject you can't stay in that identified chit-chat, but I would also explore if you have a trauma related with it. And the way that you can tell that is when you're going out in public and when you're with people, your feelings about it. So how you feel, if you like things or don't like things, if people are afraid or you don't put up good enough boundaries. My little trauma in society, to bring me back to being human on the human level, is obviously the boundaries thing. So sometimes I don't like to do things because of the boundary issue, or like if I go and stay at somebody's house that's really in awe of me from being a non-duality speaker, it's like I'm going to have to assert my boundaries so much typically, especially if they're really an extrovert that gets energy from other people. It's like the whole weekend's going to be about boundaries, so I might pick not to go there, and I might pick to go to someone that doesn't have me on such a high pedestal or something, or that's more respectful of boundaries. So you've got to see what your personality type is projecting and see that it's not true. So I can also see it's not true, but that still doesn't mean I go to the person that keeps pushing my boundaries. So you have to see what's happening to you in society, and you do that by feeling. But understand that none of that's true, and that who you truly are and the freedom you're truly looking for is that in which it's appearing in. But at the moment, what your personality structure is doing is trying to look for freedom in avoiding society. Whereas your freedom, the love that you seek, the safety that you seek, is in your alive presence. So with me, with the boundary issue that I have, I know it's just pleasure or pain, but there is no freedom found in meeting someone that pushes my boundaries or not meeting someone that pushes my boundaries. My freedom is my essence. It's always your essence. But you can see, like, are these feelings being triggered? Is there a desperate seeking to avoid these feelings? Just notice it and acknowledge it. You don't have to change it, just understand it, see it for what it is, and see that who you are is beyond that. And eventually you'll see that it's not even you seeing that a deconstruction's happening, and that seeing is happening all by itself, that a live presence is happening all by itself. Hey, Julio. But so Open Eye Hans is insisting that I read over his question. But this is all traumas being, or all discomforts that's being triggered in you, that you're not being heard properly, that people don't hear you. You can't expect to write huge questions every week and me to read them all the time. How's that fair, Open Eye Han? See the beauty and the gift that you're getting. That you're loved. Don't look at that you're not loved because I didn't read half your question. Notice that you're loved because an answer came. Your mind looks at things in the wrong way. No, she didn't read my question, motherfucker. Excited to catch you live right now. Hey Whitney, nice to hear from you. Hi Lisa, is talking antidepressants bad for a way? Is talking about antidepressants bad? Is taking? That's a very cunning question, EB. You're basically asking me to validate a choice for you. You're presenting it as if you're asking a sweet little innocent question. You know, all of these things are so individual, and you know, I can see that antidepressants can do great things and they can do negative things. Sometimes you need that kick when the serotonin gets really low, and then sometimes there's other things that can help, and you're now trying to give your power away to get me to answer it for you. And see that the debate about the antidepressants appear in a freedom that's inherently there in every experience. Taking them or not taking them. And stop trying to give your power away, EB. Everything you ever decide to do, every choice, is absolute perfection. It's the whole of life. You don't need to find guidance from others. You just need to find out who you truly are, and then that will begin to evolve. You'll begin to trust yourself again, trust your choices. The reason you don't trust your choices and don't trust yourself is because you've been conditioned by society not to. So you don't need to find trust externally. Trust is yourself. Trust is your nature. Thanks. Hi, Jamel. Hey, Lisa, can I speak to you to share? How old are you, Jamel? You look very young in your pictures. Dear Lisa, I would like to speak openly, no problem. Thanks. Okay, Chris. Jamel's just ringing, but I want him to tell me how old he is. I'm 20. It's a very... I have to go to the toilet. Oh, what have you got, Khaleesi? Have you got a little ball? Have you? You got a little ball? Yeah. Hey, beauty. Hey, Chris. Hey. I can't hear you. Let me just shut down Skype and see if that's the problem, and I'll call you back. I got a little potty. Hello. Hey. I don't have any video. You could try doing a Skype test call to get it working, but I don't think it's from my side. Could be. But try doing a Skype test call. Okay, thanks. Bye. I don't know, guys. I don't know why you do it. Like, I can see in the chat that you're making sexual remarks towards me. It's like, why bother? I'm an introvert, so it's going to make me want to get away from you even faster than anything. And also, it just doesn't work, that kind of speaking to a woman. They don't like it. The only reason that I can think that you do it is that in some way it makes you feel powerful for being rude or saying something explicit. Imagine, okay, if this was like Rupert Spira or Muji, and women were saying that sort of stuff to the men. It's like, just put it in the opposite context. Like, imagine a woman like saying those sorts of things. And I'm not laughing because I agree with anything you're saying. I'm laughing because it's just so like you're in school. Imagine if a woman's like, oh yeah, Muji, I would really like to ride you right now. Oh yeah, Muji, I really love those lips of yours. Oh yes, Muji. This is me in a good mood though, laughing at it. In another day, if you say it to me, I will be getting out my middle finger. Can you imagine saying it to Rupert? Like, what woman is going to do that to Rupert? Like he's doing a live stream and they're sitting there getting off on the way Rupert's hair falls or something. Funny. Hi Jamil, I'm just a bit reluctant to take your call. Your photo just puts me off. So maybe leave me a voice message after this talk and I'll look at it and I'll review it for next time. I've just had incidences, you know, where people have phoned in and suddenly I'm talking to someone that's very young and it's not so appropriate. If I was in a live talk, I would be able to see with my own eyes and I'd be able to judge it, but I can't judge it. I can only judge it on the photo, and by the time you've called in, it's already too late. So thanks for your understanding. Okay, guys. Okay, we've got one more question and then I'm going to go. Hi, Lisa. Can you elaborate in how I can integrate my heart more when I work with trying to be present? This is because someday dreams are easier for me to watch, but some they blind me more and for longer periods. I got the feeling that integrating my emotions to my awareness might give me the energy I'm lacking to remember myself longer. You don't really have to answer this question in your stream. I don't really understand what you mean by that question. Integrating my emotions with my awareness. I don't know what that means. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Sending you lots of love. And see you on Sunday. Bye.